welcome back to the Shuffle Squad. Zach Lesage here. Today we're going to be covering over one of the best decks in format. In fact, this is the deck that won the 2025 European International Championships in London. That deck's going to be Klawf Terapagos. Now, if you watch the finals, you'd see that Klawf won game one before Natalie got a turn, played a long game two and lost, and won game three before Natalie got a turn. Klawf is just that deck, being able to utilize cards like Pecharunt and Radiant Hisuian Sneasler and Brute Bonnet Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, allowing you to effectively take your opponent's Pokemon and be like, you're poison and you're going to get hit with 8 damage counters in between turns. Considering poison's not an attack, you can use that on the first turn of the deck, or first turn of the game. Now, Klawf is not necessarily the main Pokemon of the deck, but it's got to be the mascot because it's Klawf. It's any deck that has Klawf in it, right? We got the little Klawf things going on. Unhinged Scissors doing it's doing a lot of damage, 30 plus 160, if Klawf is affected by a special condition, which could be poison. Now, we also have Binding Mochi in this deck, which allows us to do an additional 40 damage. So we can use Klawf as a single prize card attacker. So doing 30 plus 160, 190, minus 20 from the double turbo energy, 170, plus 40 from Binding Mochi, 210, plus triple poison between Radiant Hisuian Sneasler and poison damage. Well, we're doing a lot of damage. That's enough to knock out a lot of 2 prize card Pokemon. This deck, if it sounds like a headache, it might be. You're trying to do a lot of damage in between turns with poison. Special conditions aren't really popular in the format outside of this deck, but there are some numbers that you can hit that are crazy when it comes to this deck. Terapagos with a full bench does 240 damage base, minus 20 from double turbo, 220. Well, if we put Binding Mochi on there, it's 260. And then we're going to have the poison damage, 270, plus an additional 2 from Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, 290. Well, we also have Munkidori in this deck, so we can move damage counters off our Pokemon, maybe that even we receive from poison or from popular decks like Dragapult, and move that onto our opponent's active. That might allow us to get to 290 to 320. And we have Kieran, which allows us to do an additional 30 damage. So in previous builds of this deck, we've seen Hisuian Electrode V, we've seen double copies of Klawf. We can hit whatever we effectively want to hit when it comes to playing this deck. We can hit numbers to knock out any Pokemon in format. We have ways to get through your Pokemon can't attack because we can use special conditions. And of course, you can get Budew hitting for 10 plus 40 from Binding Mochi, 50 plus triple poison, 80 damage. 80 damage energy lock with poison hitting back for 30 in between turns is absolutely crazy. And the other thing I should mention, if one of your Pokemon gets knocked out and your opponent's Pokemon still poison, you could send up the promo Pecharunt, and then they'll receive an additional 5 damage counters from poison, allowing you to reach some otherwise unreachable numbers. This deck's absolutely zany, and it's going to have a full bench of Pokemon with Area 0. I know we've covered it a couple times on the channel before, but it just did win the European International Championships, so feel free to take a screenshot of my updated list, or you can check out the description of this video and copy and paste it right into PTCG Live. We do have a few sponsors that help support the channel, such as Kayfabe Cards. They're a store based out in Utah, and they're going to be vending at the Vancouver Regional Championship. So if you need any cards, be sure to let them know that the Shuffle Squad sent you, and they're really cool. I absolutely love them. If you're not going to Vancouver, or if you're not going to their booth, always check out their links available in the description. Kayfabe Cards at tcgplayerpro.com, I believe. You can also check out our code card sponsor, ptcgeostore.com, and get any code cards that you need to craft these decks online. So if you're always wondering how do all these YouTubers have all these cards, sure, we might get some free code cards here or there, but you can always pick up some code cards and get the credits necessary to craft all these cards, or maybe even bling out your decks if you want to do that too. Code TSS5 saves 5% on your order, and it helps support our channel. We're going to be covering over some gameplay in this video and more, so if that sounds like a plan, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know what you think about Klawf in the comments, or anything at all. It does boost the YouTube algorithm. Let's jump into that gameplay. All right, so our opponent's going to be flipping that coin. Do we want to go first? Well, we want to go first if we're playing against a stage 2 Pokemon EX deck, or any Pokemon that we could easily take the win against. So like a Route, a Dreepy, so we could go for that Pecharunt, Rad Hisuian Sneasler, Brute Bonnet Donk. Otherwise, no, we want to go second. Even though our Terapagos has a kind of clause, not clause that says you can't use it on our first turn to attack with. We could still attack with Klawf, we could still attack with Budew. So pretty much any deck that plays Budew or Pokemon that can attack on the first turn, We should be okay here. I don't know what our opponent's playing. I'm just going to start with the Pecharunt because we're not always going to put Fezandipiti in play. I'm feeling pretty good about our start, though. Yeah, if we just started, we literally, I think, had game if we went first. And that's okay. We're not always going to get everything right. It's still better for us to go second in this case. So we'll see whatever our opponent does. Capturing Aroma is typically played in decks like Lugia, but they're playing it in a Charizard deck, so that's pretty cool. Not sure if it's going to end up working for them, but like our opponent, maybe that since they got the heads and didn't get another basic Pokemon, it's over. GG's. It actually just worked out really good for us. So we need a Brute Bonnet, and we need a Hisuian Sneasler. So let's double check with this. We can grab Terapagos. And just so you can see how quick this deck can pop off, we're just going to go for the Lumineon. Like, sure, we have pretty much everything in hand. Let's just go for Lumineon. Let's go for this. I just want to double check to make sure that we have... I know I checked for Pokemon. I should have checked our prize cards a little bit deeper. Okay, so we did prize the Precious Trolley. And that's going to matter a little bit. But it's not going to 100% matter. Let's just go Arven here. So if we had Precious Trolley, we could have just searched out everything that we wanted to. We're just going to go for Nest Ball here, an Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. And we're going to go Nest Ball number 1 for the Hisuian Sneasler. Nest Ball number 2 for our Brute Bonnet, Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. And they are going to take 8 times poison. That's enough to knock out Manaphy. That's a good game. That's as easy as that, right? So you can see the 8. Just pass your turn, no need to attack. This could have been turn 1. We could have got it turn 1, and that's all we needed. We'll just get the Precious Trolley too. Nah, just Arven, but that's okay. Yeah, we'll play another game. We'll see exactly what we can get going on, but like a lot of Klawf is like, you have this like almost random, you can win the game win condition. Kind of like a... It's like if you're playing at the casinos. I don't know what the captive age market is here, but like sometimes they just flip over blackjack and you're like, cool, new game. It is what it is. Some decks are just built different, and I mean this deck has that winning effect on it. So we're calling the coin flip, and we lost the coin flip. It's fine. We'll see what our opponent wants to do. If they go first, we just go second. If they go second, we go first. I mean, Klawf is one of the few decks that I think is okay going either, because we have lines of play for both. And I think that's really cool for a lot of decks. Some decks are just like, yeah, we don't really want to go first. But most of the stronger decks in format have that. They're really thinking about it. We're going first. Watch them start with the lone basic, and we're going to take them to take a dub off them. See what we got going on here. I really hope they only have one Pokemon, and let it be a Budew. Okay. That's a hands. Here I think we're just gonna start. Klawf has a decent bit of retreat. The thing is, I want to put down Klawf as our Pokemon, but at the same time it has 3 retreat costs. So if we are trying to go for a win, I think I'm going to use Squawkabilly either way. So we'll decide what we want to do here. They're gonna pick a number for the mulligans. And flip over a 7 HP Pokemon, please. Oh, they know the trick. Machamp V. Not sure what we're playing against here, but we do have Brute Bonnets. We do have... Klawf can probably hit the number on the Machamp, so I'm okay with this. Yeah, let's... I mean, we could also just get the number with... we could probably just hit the number here with Terapagos. Yeah, I think Terapagos is probably going to be our better answer, because we could hit a little bit harder, and they're already having a 2 prize route in play that can't really attack. In this case, I'm actually going to get rid of the Klawf, and I'm just going to choose another Pokemon that might be beneficial for us. Maybe we could retreat into a Pecharunt here. Nothing else that I totally want to grab. I mean, there's also access to Latias here. Maybe Latias is just better to have for retreat purposes. Let's go double turbo goes down. Let's go area 0 goes out in place. We can start getting that big bench. And let's use Squawk and Seize and see what we're able to get here. Nothing outrageous. I mean, we still have access to Carmine. That might actually end up working pretty good. It's very rare that I just draw into a Carmine. So let's go for the Pecharunt, because we're still trying to draw into all the pieces that we want to get into. Munkidori, sure, why not? We could even get back our Klawf just to have other Pokemon on our bench. And let's go Carmine, see what we're able to get here. So we did get access to Brute Bonnets. And a lot of the things that you got to figure out is, does your Pokemon want to be poisoned? And Klawf wants to be poisoned, and Binding Mochi wants your Pokemon that's attacking to be poisoned. Otherwise, we could just have more out here. I'm also just going to search this out. Not going to put down anything else. So we're going to poison our Squawkabilly first. And then we're going to retreat into our Pecharunt. So we're going to take we're not going to take any damage counters. Our opponent's going to take a free 6. And we're just in a position where we want to try to knock out our opponent's Pokemon in between turns. At this point, I don't really care about knocking them out so much, because we could have got there anyways, but it is going to give us a very easy access to that knockout. And it's just free having a single prize card Pokemon in the active spot, just in case they are able to attack. I'd rather them knock out a Pecharunt than knock out a Squawkabilly when it comes to a prize trade standpoint. Been playing some real interesting decks on the ladder here. You can tell that I've been in London and got hit with the depths of the ladder resets. Not that I ever played like a whole bunch of ladder. It's gonna be so like demoralizing actually to like sit here with your opponent, you're poisoned, you're pretty much getting knocked out no matter what. What we're gonna do here is there's no way for us to get to that number. I mean, maybe we could hit with Budew so they get knocked out in between turns. I think I'm just going to switch cart here into Guru. And when it comes down to Pokemon that I want to put things on, I think I'm going to put Binding Mochi here on our Klawf. I don't care about the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. There's no way for us to get them back. I don't think it's actually effective for us to attach to our Pokemon. Something like the Latias, maybe I could put on a Binding Mochi if I really wanted to, or it gives our opponent access to like Lost Vacuum. I'm also not going to use well, actually, you want to know what? I could use back order first, just to fetch out like a copy of Forest Seal Stone. And we only have one of those left. So I'm going to put the Forest Seal Stone here. Oranguru being able to search out its own Forest Seal Stone to give yourself that V-Star ability to get out of a dead hand is fantastic. And we're just going to go research here. And yeah, there's no way for us to take any cheeky in between turns knockout. We're either using Unhinged Scissors or we're not. And at this point, I think we're going to end up using Unhinged Scissors. We have to be poisoned on our Klawf to make that happen. So we're going to retreat for free because of Latias. We used Switch Cart before. And we're now going to poison our Klawf. Again, you got to remember the Pokemon that you're trying to hit with this damage, like the poison damage or not. And we're going to hit for 210. Unfortunately, they're not going to get knocked out in between turns. That's just how it is. And the reason why we're worried about that is for Pokemon like Fezandipiti. We'd rather our opponent not have access to their Fezandipiti than have access to their Fezandipiti. So we're chilling. And I'm not sure what kind of deck this is. It looks like our opponent's probably maybe newer to the game, is playing some kind of pre-con or something that's like, I'm not sure what it is like to start on PTCG Live anymore, because I've had a pretty loaded account from PTCGO. I mean, that's what you have when you've been playing the game forever. I'm not really worried about it. I'm more looking at the prize cards that our opponent's Pokemon are offering, Pokemon that might be worthwhile for us to knock out, and just generally making the best plays possible. Cool. So there's the Riolu. They're gonna get set up. I mean, what I might want to do here actually is search my deck for. Oh, okay. Shout out PTCGO. Have no clue what this is. Oh, they played a Master Ball. That's so wild. Like, if you ever get frustrated by PTCG Live, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know in the comments. I think, like, the fact that my opponent played literally mystery card against us, and I have to sit here and read in here that they played a Master Ball, it just seems like there's something that's, like, coded wrong. So that was really cool to see, I guess. Looks like our opponent's actually going to be able to hit for more damage than thought. Once during your turn, you search your deck for an energy, discard all energies, set to 10 for each more. Okay, so they can get the knockout pretty easily with like Lucario. We're actually weak to our opponent's Pokemon, so we just got to be careful when it comes to these situations. They're gonna knock out our Terapagos. Okay. That sucks, but you wanna know what? It is what it is. So we're gonna lose, like, one thing when your Terapagos does get knocked out. We are gonna have to get rid of some Pokemon on our bench to bring it down to 5. Squawkabilly is the first card to go. And I think this is a matchup where I'm not going to be able to use Munkidori as much as I'd like. So those are the two that I'd like to discard. At this point, I'm just going to try to clean up my bench a little bit. And the card that I'm going to start off by sending in the active spot is Oranguru. Might sound counterproductive because it's not going to attack, but it does give us access to back order. Search your deck. Okay. So, I mean, our opponent's probably just going to go Bib, Lucario. We do have access to the knockout with our opponent's active Pokemon. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to grab access to Arven for a Night Stretcher and just like another tool card. Let's thin some stuff out. Let's go ahead. Don't need the back order. Let's retreat into Klawf. Poison our Klawf. And I mean, they could do the same trick on our Oranguru. They can't do the same trick for 3 times in a row. And I think that's really going to be the point where we're like, we're going to deal with things. Maybe it would have been better to knock out their Bib. There, like, it's interesting, but I'm like, okay, maybe our opponent can fail 1 turn in a row, or maybe not hit boss, and the Lucario and the energy. Like, they still need a lot of like random things going on for them. And we have the Night Stretcher double turbo lined up, so I'm okay with that. Maybe I should have discarded my Oranguru instead of discarding the Munkidori just to take another 2 prize card Pokemon off the bench. I think that's probably something that, like, in retrospect, I could have done. But if they ever miss the Lucario piece, I feel pretty good about this. Because our Klawf, like, as soon as they ever miss 1 turn, we just steal the game. Or if they put a 2 prize card Pokemon down. Them putting it down a 2 prize card Pokemon would absolutely be fantastic for us. There's our Industrial Scissors. So if they had the Lucario, they would have evolved beforehand. And I mean, they still can get it. But I think, like, regardless of however they're playing it, like, this is definitely a turn where I'm like, yeah, I'm going after the Bib. If possible. And, like, I don't know, they're either like going for the dramatic suspense of being like, ha, I didn't get it, then they're gonna play it down and get a knockout. Yeah, they just missed. Cool, so we're still poisoned. That's awesome. Let's go boss. We're gonna cut off their Bib, because that could be definitely something that, like, maybe late game we can go for like a disruption kind of play. This is disruption to our opponent's strategy anyways. We're gonna go for 420 knockout the barrel. We take those. I think that's worthy of a sip of my advanced GG. And unless our opponent goes knocks out 2 prize card, knocks out 2 prize card, they don't win the game. And I don't think our opponent can win the game. Like, they don't have Lucario. Maybe they'll top deck it this turn, but they need Lucario, energy, boss. And I think if they had a boss, they would have played a boss last turn. Just to draw an extra card off their Bib. And there's their Machamps. There's our game-winning knockout. So even if our opponent went 2-2, we could just go 2 and end the game in half the amount of time it took. So sometimes you gotta watch out. Like, it's not just like how you're playing the game. Like, I'm sure there are Machamps, like they're gonna knock out the Riolu and they're like, maybe we're gonna tank it with Machamp. We just have access to this, and if we didn't have access to this, we had access to it with everything else. So you can see we're hitting for 210, but let's go ahead and poison our opponent's active Pokemon. And they're gonna get knocked out in between turns from 210 to 220. Even if we didn't win the game, no access to Fezandipiti. This gets around things like Gift Energy and a Lugia deck, stuff like that. So there's a knockout on the Machamp. We take those, and Klawf remains victorious. We take those. Klawf, 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 Klawf. So you can see that Klawf can excel in a short game, in a medium-sized game. Sometimes this deck can struggle in a really long game, as we saw in game 2 of the finals of the European International Championships. Like, there's only 2 Night Stretchers, so like you can potentially run out of attackers to get back. Not saying that this is a perfect list or anything. I think I like the concept of Munkidori Dark Energy right now. That's incredibly strong. If you're not feeling the Munkidori Dark Energy, if Dragapult is not necessarily popular in your area, you could definitely add in a Night Stretcher into this deck, and maybe even a third Night Stretcher, that is, and then maybe even a Blood Moon. There's a handful of different techs that that this deck can play and will play to success. I think it's definitely one of the stronger decks in the format, definitely underrated, undervalued. Even though it just won the biggest event we've seen, people will still find a way to hate on the Klawf. I think it's super great to be able to knock out your opponent's Pokemon before they get a turn. Not great for the game because it's really annoying, but if we're going for any kind of competitive advantage, Klawf adds that. And it's just kind of magical wizardry that's at work here. So shout out Klawf. Deck's available in the description, and I appreciate everyone who's tuned into this video. If there's any moments of this video where you're like, yeah, you wanna know what, I think Zach's pretty cool, I'd like to up my game playing Pokemon, hit me up for some coaching at metafy.gg/@ZachLassage. I have some openings, or you can just check out my group there that has access to all of my deck lists and more Pokemon TCG content, and it helps support me as a creator to get to more tournaments. I think we got a lot of other great videos going on the channel this week. I'm trying to go through probably a tier list video, probably another deck profile, top 10 best decks. And of course, I'm going to cap off my week by being at Vancouver Regionals. Just came back from London, but we already back to another major event. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out. And since I'm traveling to that event, I'm going to have some pre-recorded content for the Monday, Tuesday returning, probably some more deck profile videos there. I'll catch up with all y'all later. Peace out and have a great one. Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed the content that we have today, and maybe you'll click on one of these other videos, enjoy those videos too. If you haven't already, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what video you want to watch next. Until next time, we'll catch up with all y'all later. Have yourself a great day.